let's compare positive and negative numbers. Let's first realize what a positive number is and a negative number is. If we are looking at a number line, 0 is going to be your neutral point. If we are considering the direction of a number line, all of the numbers to the right of the 0 are positive. They're all going to be larger than 0. That would be everything like 1, 2, 3, 4, and continuing on forever on a number line. And everything to the left of that 0 is going to be negative. So at that point, we are seeing the completely mirrored opposite of positive, though they are negative integers. -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on into infinity. Any number that is to the right of another number is going to be greater than that previous number. So if we looked at 2, +2, every number that is to the right of it is going to be greater than 2. 3 is greater than 2. 4 is greater than 2. 5 is greater than 2. This concept applies on the negative side of the number line as well. If we were looking at -3, every number to the right of it is going to be positive, or larger. So -2 is larger than -3. It is less space from 0. -1 is larger than -3. 0 is larger than -3. 1 is larger than -3. All of the numbers to the right of whatever integer you choose is going to be larger. Now, this concept applies also going the opposite direction. When we are going to the left, any number that we choose and go to the left of, all of the numbers are going to be smaller than that number, or less than that number. So let's say, for instance, we chose +3. Any number to the left of +3 is going to be smaller. 2 is smaller than 3. 1 is smaller than 3. 0 is smaller than 3. -1 is smaller than 3. -2 is smaller than 3. That concept applies over and over again. Let's look here at -3. Again, any number to the left is going to be less than our starting point. So -4 is going to be less than 3. That means you are farther away from a positive number, meaning it is less. It is, you owe more money, you're farther away from the positive if you owe $4 instead of owing $3. So the larger your negative number is, the less the value is. So again, anything to the left of a number is going to be less. Anything to the right of a number is going to be greater. Now, we could also represent a number line as a vertical line as well. So for instance, we could draw a number line going up and down. With our negatives going down and our positives going up. We could totally do that as well. In this case, all of the numbers that are up or in the next vertical spot are going to be larger than your starting point, and anything that is to the south or lower than your starting spot is going to be less. So 1 is our starting spot on both of these. Everything that's above 1 in this instance is going to be larger. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of those are going to be larger. Anything that is below that 1 is going to be smaller. 0 is smaller than 1, -1 is smaller than 1, -2 is smaller than 1, and so on. So if we were going to go ahead and identify some parts of a number line, or put some numbers on a number line, say for instance we are given simply a number line that looks like this, and we are told that we need to plug in a particular set of numbers onto it, we can do that easily. So say for instance we are asked to put the numbers -7, 8, -1, and 5 onto our number line. We can go ahead and do that by looking at the indicators that we've been given. The tick marks each represent in this number line 1 unit or 1 number. Sometimes your number lines will represent gaps. So for instance, maybe we're counting by 2s between our tick marks, or 3s, or maybe we're counting by 10s between our number line tick marks. Sometimes number lines do that as well. Let's look at -7. If I were going to label -7 on here, I know that the negatives are always to the left or below 0. So I can count -7 spaces, or 7 spaces on the negative direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This right here is -7. Now let's find a +8. +8 is going to be 8 spaces to the right of 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's go ahead and look at -1. It's going to be 1 space from 0 in the negative direction. So it'll be here. I can go ahead and label that in my color and put the label of -1 above it. And then finally, we're looking at +5 that we're going to go ahead and label. This one is going to be 5 spaces from 0 in the positive direction. It's already been labeled for me at this indicator here. Now, if I were to put these numbers in order from least to greatest, I could go ahead and do that by putting them on a number line. This is a really easy way to go ahead and compare numbers. I can try to figure out which ones are the farthest from 0. That's definitely an option. If I know how to use absolute value, I could use that option as well. In this instance, I'm going to put them on a number line and then put them in order from least to greatest. Remember, the numbers that are the least are the farthest to the left on the number line. So -7 would be the least number here. And then they get higher. Greater numbers are always to the right. So my numbers are in order from least to greatest, from left to right on my number line. Let's do another one. Let's say, for instance, we were asked to go ahead and put these numbers in order from least to greatest. We have -40, 0, 20, -20, and +40. We're going to put those in order from least to greatest. Those are actually pretty similar to what they would be already. I'm going to draw a quick number line just so that I can see. 0, I'm going to put in the middle. I know that negative numbers are going to the left of my line. If I were counting backwards on my number line, I know that I would get to -20 first. It's only 20 spaces from 0. Afterwards, I would get to -40. Another 20 spaces from that last point. Positive numbers, I know, go on the right. If I were counting up, I would hit 20 before I would hit 40, so 20 is going to be, +20 will be my next number on the right, and the last one would be +40. So in order from least to greatest, they are already on my number line. Would be -40, -20, 0, 20, and 40. Sometimes you will find numbers like, in this instance, we could find the number 10 on this number line. And without it having tick marks, we could know that 10 is halfway between 0 and 20. Maybe I would be given something like 35, knowing that 30 is halfway between 20 and 40. 35 is going to be another quarter here past that halfway point. Sometimes you're going to be given some sort of improper fractions, or you'll be given fractions in general. Maybe you're going to be given -50 over 2. -50 over 2. Well, we know that that's going to be -25 if we change that to a regular number, if we simplify that. So -25 would be just after that -20, but before that halfway point of -20 and -40. This is integers on a number line.